Well, let's play it again, Sam. We had trouble with sound, so I went back to the office, stocked up on more batteries, and now we're back down here. If you saw it earlier, what it was we're at the Highway 87 124 curve, and we're fixing to turn on 87 and head back towards Crystal Beach. But I was over at a friend's house eating tonight, and when we got done, Chris and I drove down to the beach, and this was probably about 9 o'clock, 8:45, and we noticed that the tide was already up to the dunes, as far as washing up to the dunes. And so I went and dropped Chris off, came down here, checked Highway 87, and we're going to go back through Highway 87 and let you see what we're seeing now. Now, high tide's not until tomorrow morning, about 5:30, somewhere in there, so you can sort of judge it by now. I can tell you this, there's a lot of traffic coming in from Louisiana. I heard on the radio earlier that I-10 was almost stopped coming into Vidor from Louisiana, and I noticed the 2 trips I made down here, a lot of traffic, more than normal for this time of night. So let's go. We're going to take a turn on Highway 124 now, and I don't have any traffic behind me, and so we're going to try and get down here and let you see what it's like. Now, there's not really much on the road, a couple, 3 or 4 places where there's just some sand washed up, but what I want to get across is the storm's still a good ways off, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here to see if you can catch some of the waves splashing up here. But high tide's not until tomorrow morning, like I said, around 5 or 5:30, and what worries me is we're already seeing elevated tides, and I think we're at a low tide right now. There's a place right there you can see, and here's another place with some sand, and this is where that peat gravel and those bigger boulders are along here. And so probably tomorrow morning, and we're going to be out early, about 4 o'clock, checking everything, and we're going to do a live feed from down here to let you see what Highway 87 is like by the curve. Now, I talked to TxDOT earlier in the week, and let me see if I can adjust my sound down a little bit. I talked to TxDOT earlier in the week, and they said that they were going to stage equipment and keep it clean, just like they did during beta, and they did an awesome job of it. TxDOT was out here. I know that even the county came out one time when TxDOT couldn't make it out, or their guys had to swap out, and did a brushing and cleaning down here. Now, you go through, and there's a couple areas here that are worse than others. Right now, the area we're in, there's some sand in between us, and this is sort of elevated. But down here, a little bit farther, there's going to be more sand and shell on the road. And I had a car pass me when I was coming back, and I really watched it because I was scared it was going to hit. It was a small car, and I was scared it was going to hit one of those patches and spin out. But I saw him slam. I backed up a little bit and saw him slam on his brakes when he got up to it. So I turned my emergency flashers on so that other people coming towards us and behind us would know that, hey, we're slowing down up here because something's wrong. And so this area in here is doing pretty good. Like I said, right before you get to the curve, there's a little area, and we've got a drop down here, and I call it the halfway house because it's halfway between Gilchrist and High Island, and Rollover Pass, and we're passing it right now. And there were some areas down between the house and Rollover Pass that was probably some of the worst area on the whole highway. And so I'm going to show you that here in just a second. You'll be able to see it in my lights. I've got a car behind me. But like I said, there's one place there, and there's some more coming up. But like I said, we're at a low tide. The storm's probably 300 or 400 miles along here. In fact, here you can see in front of my truck, we're going over some stuff that's washed over already from the splashing tides. And this is mainly just shell and sand. But there's a big drop-off along the highway on the other side. And here's some more here through here. So what worries me is we're at a low tide right now, and we're already seeing this. What's it going to be like as the storm approaches and gets closer? And I have been out of commission since about 5 o'clock. I had meetings this afternoon, went down to the beach, checked it out, went home, got some stuff ready, and then went and ate some dinner. And here's another place in here, and that's actually heavier than the other. So right now, traveling 124.87 is okay. There's a couple spots that's got some sand and shell on it. But I think we're going to see a big change between now and tomorrow morning when we're back out here at 4:30 to 5:30 checking it out. Because high tide, if I'm not mistaken, is probably around 5 o'clock, give or take 30 or 40 minutes. But with the storm being closer, now the good part is the cone of uncertainty is narrow because the storm's getting closer, and it's putting us further outside the cone. Now, I don't know what the 10 o'clock update was. I haven't pulled it up yet, but the last one I looked at was, I think, 8 o'clock or so, and actually the center of the cone looked like it had moved, or the projected path had moved a little bit to the east. Not much, but a little bit. But in this time, every little bit helps. I mean, 10, 20, 25 miles can make a big difference as far as wind. We're going to see elevated tides. I know Stingray was talking, and I hadn't talked to Brad to see what they were doing. But all the businesses are open now. The big stores said, you know, it all depends on if their employees, most of their employees come from the Highland, Winnie area in the mornings. And so we're going to have to see what happens there, if they can get through, or if they may have to open a little bit later. I haven't got any word on the ferry. TxDOT said they would notify me if the ferry was going to shut down and try and give us some warning. But right now, for the next 24 hours, 30 hours, it's just a set and wait and see what happens. How high does the tide get and how strong? We're probably going to have some tropical storm force winds, which is 39 miles an hour. But that's typical down here. We get those when a front comes through, or we get a bad storm, and heck, we have 30-mile-an-hour winds on a regular day sometimes down here. So anyway, we're going to keep you posted for the entirety of this. Remember, if you've got loved ones that don't do social media, have them look us up on YouTube. You can also find us on our website, usually about an hour after we do the live feed, or within the hour a lot of times. Tonight I'm going to wait till I get home, but a lot of times I stop and update it on our website and Instagram and IGTV. And so you can find us just about everywhere. And as soon as we get the internet back up, there was a fiber cut down here. AT&T's fixing it. As soon as that gets back, our cameras will be back. And they may be back now. I haven't checked. But if you go to our website, BolivarPeninsulaTexas.com, we have webcams on there. 3 on the beachfront, 1 at Stingray Restaurant showing the bay, that you can see the bay. We've got 3 on the beachfront, and then we've got some up at Fort Travis and Rollover Pass. So you can sort of keep an eye on everything that's going on down here. We're getting into Gilchrist and almost a Rollover Pass. Everything's looking good here. A little bit of debris on the road right now, sand and some shell. But when we really need to watch it is going into tomorrow morning, from now to tomorrow morning, to see just how high it's going to get. And is the water going to come over the road, or is it just going to be splashing? And so we'll keep you posted. We'll be back out early tomorrow morning. You can find us here wherever you're watching us, and keep up with what's happening on Bolivar Peninsula. Let us know what you're doing. Is Delta going to affect you in any way, and what you're having to do? Are you having to evacuate? Are you down here just hunkering down? Are you away? But let us know where you're listening from also. We'd love to see how far we get out, and we read every comment. And so we love to read your comments too. We're going to head back to the home front. Miss Chris is waiting. We had a great dinner, some great gumbo tonight, and for the first time, I had bananas Florentine, and oh my gosh, it's a new favorite. I watched them make it right there in front of me. Some of our friends had us over, and she said, "You want to have some bananas Florentine?" Never had it. Here, I'm going to whip it up. It had the vanilla. Oh my gosh, it was like heaven. So anyway, we've had a good night. We're going to go get us a couple hours sleep, keep up with the storm, and we'll be back early tomorrow morning live from